All right, we are live. How's it going? My name's IPA Fan, and I'm going to be chugging beer out of Woodhouse, Santa Cruz, and Hoppy Bruja.
Hi, I'm the Happy Bruja. I'm going to be drinking or chugging Rasaberry. It's a collab from Feathered Serpent and Rose Skull Brewing.
Nice. Ice Queen.
I'm Ice Queen Brews, and I'm going to be chugging Waimea Haze from Harlan.
RJ.
Drunk the Monkey. Here I'm chugging Other Half Double Liquid Gems Imperial IPA.
Nice.
Ricky.
All right, guys. I have this Yodel Creative Creatures Coconut Lager.
You got to tell me how that one tastes.
Jay Hunt.
Craft Wetness here, and I'm going to be chugging this Glitter Fight Club by Monkish and Other Half.
Nice. And Al.
Beer Lover, and I'm going to be rocking Lock City's Ubermensch, my second to last can that I have. And it is a Marzen, 5.5%, I think.
And we have a special guest, Mike from Lock City, is going to be joining us, and we're going to be reviewing his beer and talking about it as we go. And that's after the show. So, Ricky, you're in the center. You want to count it down, sir?
Finally. All right, guys. Everybody put up. All right. 3, 2, 1. Cheers.
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 It's so smooth.
Zero coconut.
It's a good way to get a buzz. Thank you for joining us, Mike. I appreciate it.
No problem. Anytime.
I know you're doing your thing at like 3 a.m, so I appreciate you taking some time out to hang out with us for a little bit.
Yeah, we're brewing tonight and tomorrow, 3:30 in the morning. So.
Oh, wow.
We won't try to keep you too long then. So which ones we have? Hedge Fund Juice Bag
Excuse me.
and Lock City
Nice one, bro.
Double Noggin Knocker.
Double Noggin Knocker.
Which one first?
I love that can.
I would go with a double noggin. I think it's a heavier handed beer. I think it's a double.
Yeah,
That's
they're
8.5%.
yeah, they're both 8.5%. Double Noggin Knocker is probably the one you want to go with first. It's a little bit easier to drink than the Hedge Fund. The Hedge Fund is just complete, just overripe juice.
Nice.
That doesn't sound bad though.
No, not at all.
Headbutt.
And thanks for the beer, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
no
you.
problem.
So, got any reviews just on the can itself? The art?
It's smooth.
Yeah.
I was like that. I was like that first hit of dank when you open up a can. I don't know if anybody else likes that. It was just maybe it's just me.
My favorite part of the whole of the experience. It's just that smell. When that smell hits you, you know you're gonna have a good experience.
There you go.
But it is a fruity, sweet, fruity smell to it.
So
It's Citra, Mosaic, and Columbus hops in this one.
nice. I was gonna say, while we're trying it out, is there anything you'd like us to know about Lock City in general or your story?
Yeah, I mean, we opened up about 3.5 years ago. So we opened up with the intention of bringing Stanford. There's only one other brewery here, so we want to bring recognition to Stanford and the state of Connecticut that good beer can be made here. We've the whole idea was just to make IPAs, New England style IPAs, after having quite a few, from around Vermont, Massachusetts, and I'm sure you know who all those guys are. Some of the best in the business here. And we just, like I said, we just wanted to bring that to Stanford. you know, we want to make it so that people didn't have to drive get in the car for 2 hours and wait in line for a really good New England style IPA. We want to keep that all here. So that was kind of like our whole plan. You know, when we open this place up, Double Naganaka here is one of our flagships, right? That's our flagship double IPA. OGM Parole being our, you know, 6.5%, like that's our all around IPA. That's the one we brew all the time.
Mhm.
But the whole idea of this was just to make really good beer that guys like you, people like you would really love.
Oh, yeah.
I do really love this one. I always
Yeah.
expect, like, I know hazies are supposed to be super juicy, but living on the West Coast, like, I still always expect that bitterness. And so, like, I really appreciate just how smooth and juicy it is.
I was gonna say I get a little like a little slight malt at the beginning, right? But then it's like it goes right into like a ripe fruit almost. Kind of mild sweet, so it's not like overly sweet, but you get like that, like I want to say orange, maybe peach. I don't know if anybody else is tasting the same thing.
Yeah,
Definitely tastes
we use
like
mosaic in this, so the mosaic is coming through pretty nice on that. That's what's got to give it that orangey flavor. Simcoe and Columbus. So the idea behind this beer was to try to make it kind of like a West Coast meets East Coast type New England style IPA. So that's the idea behind Columbus. And you can get the little bit of butter, the bitterness and the pininess from that hop.
Right. Yeah,
But it's
exactly.
really
Right.
low. It's really more on the sweeter side. There's not a lot of tartness to it, not a lot of bitterness to it, but this is actually pretty. I mean, I've heard this is like the third time I've had this week, I think. And it's probably one of the smoothest beers that you've made thus far for me.
Quick side story. I actually looked it up because I remember the can, and I thought maybe this was your time, your the first time you guys made this, but I remember the can and actually looked it up on Untapped. I actually took some of this to my sister's wedding.
Oh, really?
One of
Nice.
we had talked previously about, like, you know, party foul, bring your own beers to other people's events, and I actually had brought some of this to my sister's wedding. That's why I remember it so much.
Nice. Yeah, this is you know, we've really worked on this beer. We had a lot of problems with this, you know, in previous batches. The last 2 batches have been really kind of like where we want this beer.
Right.
So are you saying the first batch you didn't really like?
We almost shelved this beer. We almost took it right off our product line. We just weren't happy with it. And what we did was we add a little bit of mosaic to the beer, and it brightened it right up. And since then, you know, it's been a really nice beer.
But you know what, you are your own biggest critic. Anytime I'm over at Lock City and I talk to Mike, he's his own biggest critic. He always has something to say about his beer. He's always improving his recipe. That I know.
So
But this is one of your better beers, in my opinion.
Oh, thank you.
clearly a solid beer. You said it's one of your staple beers. I'm curious, something I like to ask every brewer I pretty much run into or owner is, did you have a beer in mind that you thought was going to take off as far as like your staple beer? And then were you surprised that, oh, it's actually this one, like whether or not you wanted it to be?
I thought it was this one. This one I was brewing before we opened this place up.
Okay.
And this beer is the reason why we opened this place up, actually. And come to find out, it was our, OJM Parole, which is like our second beer that we produced in the brewery. And I think a lot of that has to do with the name on it. But because even that beer was like, we really had to work on that to kind of nail that one down. And I think we have that where we want it now. But people really love that beer. That's the beer that beer probably sells, I would say 3 or 4 to 1 compared to any other beer that we make.
Jeez.
Do you think that the can art has something to do with it?
I think the can art has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the beer is actually really good now. I thought the beer was kind of mediocre in past up to about just before the summer. I think the summer we kind of nailed it down.
When I
Yeah,
get
'cause I
my
think-
hands on it, I'll send it out to everybody.
Right.
No, because I think that's how I actually came to you guys, because I saw the can somewhere. I think it was before I met Al, because I remember the can, that OJ on Parole, and I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. Let's see where that's at. And then you guys were close by, close enough for me anyway. I'm in New York, so
Okay.
you know, that's how I just drove over to you guys. You guys were right there.
Yeah, I mean, and now, I mean, how long ago was it the first time you had it?
You probably had like 2 years ago, Ricky.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Ricky's frozen.
Yeah, I think Ricky just froze.
He's frozen time. But you also do a double dried hop of that beer, which I kind of dig a lot. Which-
That beer, the double dry hop version of it is always on point.
Yeah.
Rich or J Hump, do you guys have anything to ask right now?
No,
I
Rich
gotta-
unfortunately doesn't have his yet.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't. I didn't get my
It-
beer.
It never got to him.
Hopefully
That
I'll
kills
get
me.
I'll get it this week, so I'll enjoy it and just post a review. Right now, I'm drinking.
And what gets me is everybody here, with the exception of Ricky with the good beers, is in California, and Drunken Monkey is in Maryland. He should have gotten his beers way
Yeah.
before.
And
Unfortunately.
don't feel bad. You guys are gonna be drinking hedge fund juice bags. Somebody stole my last 4-pack, so.
What? That's not
It
cool.
wasn't me. It wasn't me.
I see it in our background.
Instead. I'm gonna have to shake your booty.
Nice.
Oh, nice. I've had that plenty of times too.
Yeah, but you know, this one, the one that we'll be drinking next, if any of you had looked it up on the Untapped, it got like really high marks, high reviews on this one. And this, I think you said you did this with Run and Hide Brewery.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah,
a
they're
new
out of
brewery out.
Portchester.
They're out of Portchester, New York. They, I think they only have I think this is actually their third beer.
Third?
You know, they already have 2 on their own, but this collaboration is their third. I guess it's under their library now. But
I definitely try not to look on Untapped when we have a brewer on. I don't want to have like somebody else like judgments like fogging mine.
Yeah, Untapped.
Yeah,
You have a lot of unfair ratings. Like I remember we were at a beer event a couple years ago, and this one person walked up and asked for our coffee porter, and poured the coffee porter, drank it, and was like, "Oh, coffee." And it's just, it's, and that's what they put on. That's what they put on the Untapped review, and I remember that person to this day. So yeah, I mean, it's a lot of the Untapped reviewers are kind of like they're kind of like entry level in the craft beer, and they're still kind of searching what they're looking for.
Yeah, I got you.
Right.
Yeah.
Rich, did you have something to add?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask. Me being unfamiliar because I haven't tried it yet, and I will. And but like as a brewer, for your brewery, do you like to concentrate on hop combinations or like adjuncts to try to change the flavors up for your different beers?
Hop combinations for us when it comes to IPA. I mean, when it comes to stouts, we typically have a base stout around 10%, and we play around with it depending on what percentage we're looking for, which I think we're really, really happy with. And we'll put anything in arm's length into that stout. We'll do just a regular plain stout, or we'll just throw whatever's in our reach. We'll throw it into the beer. So stouts, yeah, I mean, that's adjunct stouts are a big thing for us. But IPA, yeah, we're just playing with different hop combinations and different ABVs.
So let's go ahead and go try the second one, the hedge fund juice bag. Before I even crack it open, I just want to say the art. Al sent me a couple other Lock Cities. He's the one obviously introduced me to you guys, and I've thought the art is pretty interesting in general. Like, I think somebody could look at it and be like, "Oh, it's childish, like not that great, whatever." But if you really look at the detail in it, is actually pretty dope. And I'm like, I don't know who does the art for you guys or if you do it, but there's a lot of like tiny little detail in every single can I've gotten that has this type of art on there.
Yeah, we have a few people doing our artwork for us. We have a guy right next door that did this label. This is kind of like the first label he's ever done. And one of the big things that we saw on the label is that we wanted the whole background white because the Run and Hide and Lock City doesn't really kind of pop on that can. And we wanted to make the art larger on the can. But next time, we'll get it right on that. But yeah, we use, my wife does a lot of the artwork. She does a pretty good job on what she does. She drew up a couple cans for our intellectual series. And she, helped kind of design a few other labels that we have.
Ooh, I like that one.
Yeah. So our art is kind of like all over the place. We don't stick to any kind of one. We don't stick to one theme.
There was one, I think it was pretty sure from you guys, it was something along the lines of like, you have to try this one beer like at my house or something like that. I'm not sure the exact name, but
Yes.
there you go. Yeah. Al, what was that? That was delicious. Like it was like some guy with a beer in his hand. It looked like, he took everybody back to his house and was like home brewing type thing. I'm not sure the name of it, but the art was great, but the beer was even better.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it, but you're right. It's just, it was like you have to have this beer or you have to drink this beer. Or you have to try
you like this?
Yes.
Yeah. You
Yes.
like this? Yeah.
That was great. Great. I like the art.
That's the one with L. That's the one with Burke on the cover, right? Is that the one?
Yeah, pretty much. Were you aiming for Burke to be on the cover of that one? By the way, Burke is somebody who works there.
It's an inside joke. So basically, you have a guy that's just kind of like laying there watching Burke work. Right. Do you know Dan?
Yeah.
Yeah, he lives up in New Hampshire now. So it was Dan and Burke. So one day Dan was just sitting down watching Burke and Patrick bring in bags of grain from outside. And then Burke got all mad and started yelling at Dan, like started swearing and like, why don't you get off your ass and help? And just going nuts on him. So we decided to make a label that kind of had like Burke working the taps, and then Dan was just kind of like laying back watching Burke with a big smile on his face.
But I do remember that was really tasty beer. Like, I think you like occasionally you do the one-offs, but don't you like revisit them every so often? Are you like interested in bringing back beers that you've done before?
There's gonna be more an initiative to like kind of cut down on the one-offs that we're doing and kind of start focusing on some of our beers that people are really asking for. And a lot of these beers we only do twice a year.
Right.
So we want to start getting beers out like probably once every 3 months, once every 4 months or so. So we get it out 3-4 times a year. It's just hard because every time we come out with a new beer, everybody's like, you got to put that in rotation. And the next beer comes out, oh, you got to put that in rotation.
My grip. I'm always asking for something that can.
Yeah.
But just so you all know that it's Mike and Alex. They're just two men doing the work. That's it. It's not like there's 8 or 9 guys working there. It's just 2 guys making the beer. That's it.
J-Hump, you seem
trying this yet?
Impressed about the beer?
Actually, if you don't mind me jumping in, this was one of those was a question that I was going to ask, and I was like, with brewing and stuff, how do you decide like which ones are the ones that you do one-offs and which ones are the ones that you decide that you're going to make in rotation? I guess you just probably answered it with what people are asking for, but every once in a while you get excited about that. Oh man, that new thing that's coming out. A few things that come to mind are Bugatti Space Dreams. Bugatti spaceships.
One of my favorites.
And remember you guys had one called Lock Citra that was like just a Citra bomb, dude. That shit was, because I love Citra. I was like so good. But like, when do you guys decide, all right, this is gonna be just we'll do this and then we're just gonna keep moving, or how does that work when you
we're starting to put like a real brew schedule together that we can probably kind of see what we're going to be brewing for the next 2 to 3 months. We've been brewing on the fly, so whatever we decide, like from a week, like we'll plan like maybe our month out and say, okay, this is what we want to brew, and then midway through that month, we might say, no, we're going to scratch that beer and put this one in. So we're just kind of brewing on the fly right now, but we are nailing down. We're currently running down, kind of nailing down a schedule and see if what we can follow and how many times a week that we can brew between the two of us. We're trying to get a third person in here to kind of help us out and do all the kind of like the dirty work as far as like cleaning tanks and getting them ready while we're brewing.
I think I'll
I
volunteer
would
that.
totally help. I'll quit my day job and I'll help you guys out.
Stanford is like
here.
20 minutes from my house.
Sure.
I'm down to go, man.
I'll be there anyway. So
You pay me in beer.
yeah. By the way, I dig the nose on this on the head juice bags.
Yeah.
I get like some apricot and some passion fruit on this one, but it's also got like a maltiness to it. Like what's the malts in this one? Because it is malt forwards on the taste.
We have a Pilsner. We use a Pilsner, a lot of oat malt, and probably 2% of the grain bill is honey malt.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what
I
it
don't know,
is.
man. I don't know about you guys, but I get straight mango for some reason. That's the first thing that comes to mind is mango.
Very, very, very overripe fruit in that beer. It's from the Azaka hops.
Nice.
Ah,
I was gonna see if Bruja or Ice Queen, you guys been a little quiet on your reviews. Anything?
Actually, that was my question, was what is the hop profile in here? So
Yeah, it's,
Azaka makes a lot of sense because like I'm tasting a lot of like the sweeter stone fruits.
Yeah, it's well, we have a blend of T90 and Cryo Citra hops. And then there's Azaka, which is the leading hop, and Green Bullet, which is New Zealand, and Pacific Gem, which is New Zealand.
Those two are new to me. I've never heard of Green Bullet
Yeah.
or Pacific Gem. Those are they new? Like to
No, they've been around forever.
yeah, I've never.
Yeah,
That's
those are
literally
basically
the first time I've
OGs
ever
in New
had.
Zealand. Yeah,
mm.
they've been around for quite a while.
I think Pacific Gem is starting to make like a hit over here though. It's just like it's starting the new wave here.
The
Yeah.
New Zealand
Well,
hops.
Yeah.
Yeah,
New
they're
Zealand,
in everything. I see them in like the Nelson Solvent. I mean, like all those New Zealand houses. All these
Raquel
are
is really
everywhere now.
good. Yep. Yeah, Rawaka.
Rawaka,
all those
yeah.
hops. Yeah.
Yeah,
Rawaka is impossible to get for us. I mean, if we're not brewing over 5,000 barrels a year, it's very difficult for us to get.
I was gonna ask you that. I was gonna say, being that you're a newer brewery and you're in Connecticut, 'cause I'm from New York, so I know how it is where you guys are kind of out there. Like you said, you don't want people to have to drive 2 hours away. From upstate New York, not from New York City.
in Middletown, right?
I'm from Syracuse, so it's
Yeah.
I'm upstate New York too.
Yeah, well, I was gonna ask you how difficult it is because we've heard from other people that like you really have to like kiss their ass to get some good hops for them to like actually let you buy their hops.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense.
How that
Yeah.
was crazy.
Money is
Yeah.
money. I mean, if you want it, then why would it be such a
Well,
big deal?
The hop farms won't even let you come out there to even sniff the hops and take a tour of their hops unless you're making 5,000 barrels a year. They all the small breweries are not allowed to go out there.
Wow.
Yeah, I called because
crazy.
I thought we were getting a bad batch of Simcoe hops at one point, and I wanted to go out there and say I want to see where my crop is growing, and they're like, nope, you don't make enough beer, you can't, you're not allowed to come out here.
Jeez.
That's a
So-
great business model.
Yeah.
What a fucked up thing. That's horrible.
Well, it's one guy that runs all the American hops in the country, right? So it's YCH, and they license all the Citra, the Simcoe, the Mosaic, all in Sabro, all those hops that are on patent. They license to different farmers, and we could be getting Simcoe from we might not be getting Simcoe from the Pacific Northwest. We might be getting it from Idaho. So wherever they have farms there. So, which is a completely different soil, different pH in the soil, different weather system. I mean, everything's different there. So the hops are not going to be the same. It's like if we took those same hops and tried to grow them in New York and Connecticut, they're not going to be anywhere near the same in taste profile and aroma.
So just my quick review on it. I thought the double noggin was solid, but I think my palate was a little messed up with the Woodhouse. It was pretty danky. My Chug beer. But this hedge fund juice bag is so good. The juiciness comes through. I think J Hump like summed it up quickly, perfectly, said, "Ooh, I like this," or something along those lines. That was good. This is, yeah, it comes through, man. Just really.
Yeah, it's got a nice fruit cocktail like taste to it.
From the nose to the end, it's perfect.
I can't wait for Rich to have
You
it.
can tell you guys made love to your beer.
I think Rich actually had something to say.
Speaking
Yeah,
of Rich,
oat
you gonna add
probably
something?
gives it more smoother taste too. Adding all the
Yeah.
oats to it, it's very smooth. So I like it too.
Go ahead,
Rich,
Rich.
you were gonna say something?
No, I was gonna ask if I know you guys being a smaller brewery, have you guys looked into or thought about doing collabs or going in with another brewery to get those hops, since you're not producing as many barrels
That's a good
to be able to
question.
get on those farms basically to get those hops?
Yeah, the thought comes to mind, but I never really I thought about that from day one, but I never really pursued it. And I think we're making pretty good beer here with what we've got. So we don't necessarily need it right now. We're growing. We're probably gonna be doubling, or at least doubling our capacity for next year. So I'm not too worried about it. As long as we can make really good beer that people really like, and also still be able to contract some of those hops that we need for one-off beers, of some of the new hops and some of the latest and greatest. I think that I don't think we really need to do that. So I think right now we're pretty happy with what we're getting.
Okay.
I think for like whatever hops you can get, I think that you guys do good with it, because just these two beers I tasted is really good. So.
Oh, thank you.
We actually try not to just be fanboys here, but kind of got that out of us with this.
I like it, man.
Listen, I like constructive criticism. Like if somebody doesn't like my beer, I like to know why.
So I just wanted to add, like,
I'm with any other beer that I try, I'm just as hard on my beer as I am with anybody else's.
Oh yeah.
So
I know that.
So if it's constructive and if there's a reason why, and even that it's kind of hard to judge. There's in the U.S., what is there, like 300 million pallets out there, right? And every one of them is different. Like, people like different things. You can't
Satisfy them all.
You can't hate on. There's got to be millions of people that love that taste of that other beer, right? Nobody likes. There's not a lot of commonality of what people like, as far as there's a reason why people go to breweries that you might find mediocre or not good, right? People just love beer.
True.
So kind of going with like knowing that everybody has a different palate and you try to choose beers that like your customers like, do you kind of sway more towards what you find like the best beer, or do you kind of get like a consensus?
We try to, but what we find is that what we like the most, is not what the customers like necessarily. So that's why that's why we stuck with Double Noggin Knocker for so long, trying to get that one right. Reason why we stuck with OJ Pro is a beer that we didn't like for a long time, and now we've got it to a point where we like it, and I think customers are evolving to that next level OJ that we're making now. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of beers that we want to put away that we feel like, because we don't like it, we're wasting our time making this beer today. So but people want it, they're buying it, and people like it, and that's basically what matters in the end.
So you're trying to evolve the palates of those around you.
Well, I guess you can say that. Yeah.
Honestly, I love that. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of people stuck with like domestic that don't want to branch out, but I love that you guys are trying to just like get everybody to love good beer.
And I think that OJ Pro is a really good example of that. I mean, it's a beer that was just like, it's a drinkable beer, always has been a drinkable beer, and we're actually kind of slowly kind of changing the flavor profile and kind of bringing it up to that next level.
I love,
And I hope people realize that.
I love when
I'll
you guys
get
did
it to
the double
everybody
dry
at
hop
some
version.
point.
Oh, the double dry, yeah, the double dry hop OJ. Like I said, that beer is always on point.
Which is all right. So
I
here,
mean,
all right,
I
here's
don't
my
think we made
question
a
to
bad
you.
one
I'm
look
going to
good.
put you on the spot because I've asked you this before several times. Why not consistently put the double dried hop out if it is the one that's on point more often?
People want what they can't have.
You know what? There it is. That's the golden ticket. That's the absolute truth. Most of us who can't get it want it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the
Oh,
truth.
because
people want what they can't have. You know,
it's
and
true, man.
that's
Because
So
that's why we do beers. That's why we put beers in rotation twice. You know, twice a year.
because when you
And
see that double dry hop is gonna drop, man, then you're
Yeah.
like, oh, I gotta make
When
sure
I
I get
see that he has the
Yeah.
DDH on the can, that's when I'm like running down to the store.
and we're kind of slowly moving away from that. We want to give a little bit more to people that that want it, but there are some specialty beers that we do, like our pumpkin ale, that is always going to be like once a year, and that's it, right? And we might make different variations of that. We'll do a bourbon barrel stout or bourbon barrel version of that pumpkin. We'll do a bourbon barrel stout, pumpkin stout version of that. We'll do, I mean, there's a lot of different, we'll do, like we're releasing a beer called Lantern Tears, or it's normally, our pumpkin ale is called Lapa Lantern. So we're doing Lantern Tears, which sat in a tank for about 3 months essentially on Amburana wood
What's that?
and 2 pounds of vanilla beans. It's a Brazilian spice wood.
So I think
I've
J
never
Hump
heard of it.
actually,
But it
The
sounds
beer is
good.
dynamite.
J Hump was raising his hand a little bit ago.
So Mike, I remember in the beginning you were saying that you guys are building around IPAs. What made you guys get into doing stouts? Was it just because like some customers asked, or what?
No, yeah, that's one thing. I mean, we got into the stout game. We probably produced our stout. Well, we had a coffee porter that we produced one time in our first year, and then we produced Calm Like a Bomb, which is our peanut butter and chocolate stout. Probably a year after we opened, and we've been doing those on and off. Last year, we started getting a little more serious over the winter to produce stouts.
Nice.
And it's been a learning curve for me as far as what people want for stouts. And what we're finding is that the average stout drinker is right. We're not like I will not take any credit for why we're producing the stouts that we're producing now. I listen to people and figure out what they really want in a stout, and I think we really nailed it down. Like Al, you had Calm Like a Bomb, right?
Yeah, I had it last night actually.
So what did you think of that beer? Like, I feel like that's a stout that people what they're looking for, right? The thickness and the
It's got a great mouthfeel.
acidity.
It's creamy. It's a little bit smoky, but that peanut butter is just there enough where it's not overwhelming.
Yeah.
You definitely get the coffee, you get the chocolate, but that peanut butter is subtle. It's not overwhelming. So it's just like, for me, riding below all of the other notes. So I kind of course, like your beers. I love your beers actually. So Calm Like a Bomb is actually a good peanut butter stout without it being overly peanut butter, because peanut butter tends to be like dominant in a flavor, but you kept it low. So it's not like, like overbearing.
Okay, Al, send me that.
We weren't trying to either. I mean, we put a lot of peanut butter powder. We put a lot of roasted peanuts in that beer.
Right, and it's not overbearing. It's not. For one thing, it's not the predominant flavor of the beer. It's not like I drank. I'm like, this has got a lot of peanut butter. I got the chocolate, I got the coffee, and I got just enough of the peanut butter.
The base stout was what we were looking for, the maltiness of that beer, and that's what we've been trying to achieve with our stouts for the last couple of years, and I think we have that. And you can see the barrels behind me. All these barrels right here. I mean.
Any of those have that subliminal verses on? Was it number 5 now? I guess it would be.
Subliminal verses number 3. I mean, we have more barrels over here.
Because I know you. I've had number 2 and number 3. I know you have 4, right? That came out to 2020.
We had 4. That was a carrot cake one.
That's the one I did.
Did you say carrot cake?
So Subliminal versus 3 was the one with the
pastry stout,
black and white cookie one.
Right.
So that's the first one we did. That's in barrels right now, in bourbon barrels. We're probably going to release some of that in January, and then we're going to take the other barrel, put it in age it for 6 more months into a port barrel.
Nice.
And so we got some good things coming down the line with our barrel program. We just barrel aged last week. We put into barrels some of our Lock Lantern, some of our pumpkin ale base stout or base beer into four of these barrels, and we're gonna do different things with those as well. So we got a lot of good stuff coming. We have another stout coming in a couple of weeks that we're also gonna barrel age, and it's gonna be a lot of good a lot of bottle releases coming pretty soon. So
Yes, I think Cisco.
So I was going to say, we're actually just about the end of our time. Usually we get cut off at this time, so I'm just giving the heads up that we might get cut off. I don't know why I haven't gotten the warning, but I think we all agree to say thank you. We really appreciate it. And just want to see if there's any like closing words you want to say about your brewery for fans who are just hearing about you guys for the first time now and might want to check you out.
yeah, I mean, we got a lot of good things coming down the line. We hopefully will have a new, at least a new section to our tap room, if not a whole new tap room coming. Somewhere in downtown, or maybe a beer garden, outdoor beer garden at some point down on the south end of Stanford. So we have some good things coming. We have more good beers coming. Hopefully people enjoy them. And there's going to be more of it coming. So, I think that, we're kind of sticking true to what we're all about here. And maybe that's why we haven't grown as fast as some people might want us to grow. Quality is always number one for us. Any beer that we make that might not have the quality that we're looking for, it gets dumped. We're not going to just push out beer just because we have to. I think that there's going to be a lot more variety, a lot more good stuff coming out from Lock City in the near future.
Cool.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
And once I get it, I'll get it out to everybody
damn
else.
stout.
Al is our hookup.
Yeah.
Being
I want that
said,
carrot cake stout.
That carrot cake, yeah. I remember that one.
next week we'll be doing a Christmas one, so everybody stay tuned and we'll see what's going on with that. Once again, thank you, Mike, Lock City, everybody. Have a good
Thank you,
Thank
Mike.
you guys. Thank you.